Okay, I'm going to show you guys my way of doing skill assessment 12A. For those of you who got B, it's just your bad luck. Anyway, my name is Mr. Smith, so let's put that in there. My table is the podium. Sure, why not? All right, my period is 2, 3, and 6. That's right, I'm the only one lucky enough to be here 3 times. And today's date is the 7th of May. Okay, isolate the variable showing steps, then interpret the resulting equation in words. Isolate t, then write a new phrase. Okay, so I want to get t alone, where d means distance, r means rate, and t means time. So this currently is read as distance is equal to rate times time. Okay, the fact that I'm multiplying here means I better start by doing the opposite of multiplication. I'm going to divide. I'm going to divide by, I want t alone, so I'm going to divide by r on both sides. And already says both sides, so don't need to write that twice. My new equation, if I divide by r, then I'm dividing both sides by r. So it's d divided by r is equal to t. So what does that mean? It means distance divided by r, which is rate, is equal to time. That's it. Distance divided by rate is equal to time. All right, so this equation and this equation are equivalent. All we did is isolate t, where initially we had d isolated. Very simple. Okay, 2, decide which method works best with each scenario. Explain your choice. Scenario A, you have 2 equations. Both are in slope-intercept forms. Slope-intercept form is like y equals mx plus b, and they're both in that way. That one. So we're going to have 2 of those, so I'll just do that. I'm just doing that just so I can see it. And then scenario B, you have 2 equations. One is in slope-intercept form, so that's this. By the way, let's have some discipline about this. Let's get some color. Oh, that's right. I'm not using Google Docs, so that's slower. Forget it. No color. Too bad. And then the second one is going to be in standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. In other words, anytime when the x and the y are together. Okay, so what would be better for equal values method? Equal values method, we would like to have 2 slope intercepts. Okay, so in other words, we would like A. And it's okay to put that because that's the way it's formatted. Why? Because you can make an equation between the 2 mx plus b halves of the original equations. So yeah, I mean, if you have y equals mx plus b and then y equals another mx plus b, you can be like, well, whatever this mx plus b is, that must be equal to this mx plus b because they're both equal to y. That's why it's called the equal values method. Cool. All right, next. Which choice would fit substitution? Substitution works really well for b because in this case, what we have is y equals mx plus b. Since you know what y is, you can jam it into the y part of your standard. So that's b because since y, or any variable, honestly, is isolated, you can plug it into the standard form equation to make a single variable equation. And when I say plug it in, I mean plug its equivalent expression. So in other words, if you have this y equals mx plus b, you take this mx plus b and you put it where you see y here. So the equivalent expression being mx plus b, you jam it where you see the y here, and you end up with ax plus b times this mx plus b is equal to c. Therefore, the only variable left would be the x's. Okay, hopefully that's clear. 3. Use the equal value method to solve the system. Show the work, then use Desmos to check. All right, so here y equals mx plus b, where m is -4 and b is 1. Here y equals mx plus b, where m is -2 and b is 5. So we need to make a new equation made of equivalent expressions. Well, this is what we were just talking about. What we need is -4x plus 1 is equal to -2x plus 5. All right, so what am I going to add to both sides? I'm going to add 2x to both sides. Why, you ask? I'm going to add 2x to get rid of that. And so what that's going to get me now is when I add 2x to the -4x, it becomes -2x, still plus 1, is equal to, and now I don't have this -2x over here, so I just have 5. So now I need to add something else to isolate. I got to get rid of this 1, and since I have a positive 1, I'm going to add -1. Some of you will be like, isn't that just subtracting? I'm like, well, yeah, totally. If you want to cross out the word add and write subtract 1, you're correct. Sure. Adding and subtracting are really just the same thing in reverse. Meanwhile, here I am trying to just get rid of this to get out of the way. Okay, so we add -1 to both sides. That means we're left with -2x, but that 1 is gone now, and that's equal to the 5 plus -1, which is 4. So now, of course, we're just going to divide the coefficient of x, which in this case is -2 from both sides. So what we end up with is x is equal to 4 divided by -2. So x is equal to 4 divided by -2. It's a positive divided by negative, a positive divided by a negative, so it's going to be -2. Now we need to substitute. We know that x is -2, so we're going to substitute -2 for x in y equals -2x plus 5. Truth is, you could do it in either equation. So what I do is I'll just take this equation, I will copy it, I will paste it here, and then where I see the x, I'm going to replace it with -2. Now I need to do some thinking here. Multiply -2. So the -2 times the -2, be careful here, it's a negative times a negative, so that's 4. Plus the 5 left over there, bam. So of course full thing is y is equal to 4 plus 5. And now this is the tricky part. Just kidding, 4 plus 5 is easy. Y is equal to 5. Alright, cool. Y is equal to, I said 5 because I was being silly. 4 plus 5 is 9. No, don't worry about me, I'm not tired. Write the solution in coordinate notation. Okay, coordinate notation has to be in the right sequence. X is -2, Y is 9. There you go. Okay, did your solution work in Desmos? Always worth it to check, so we're going to use a Desmos. Give me a Desmos, there we are. I'm going to put in this equation, y equals -4x plus 1. And then I'm going to put in this other equation, which is y equals -2x plus 5. And the solution I get here is -29. Is that what I got? Is it -29? It is what I got. Yeah. So did it work in Desmos? Oh yeah, it did. Oh yeah.